Hello, I'm Jeff Patterson. Today we're going to look at part 4 of the Chen style Tai Chi. Remember, in this series we're looking at just some of the basic movements to learn the form, but I'm also breaking it down and showing some of the martial applications so the movements will have a little bit more purpose. Remember though, I'm just showing a couple variations of the martial applications. Some of these movements might have 15, 20, 30 different applications that you can play. And so as you get more advanced, you'll have more options. And that again is why this form can be very different every time you play it. One time I might do the application here, another time I might do it here, depending on what it is. And so it can have different options within the same movement, as long as you're understanding the energetic principles behind it. And remember, when you're doing Tai Chi, a lot of the movements are very big and kind of dramatic to show you the movement, the energetic transition, the weight transfer, turning of the waist, the moving of the body. That's all done intentionally. One, it's good for the health, but two, if I just show you how to throw a punch and you do like this, it's not going to have any meaning, any purpose behind it. You're not going to be able to hit with half your power. But if you learn how to sit down, turn the hips, shift the weight, and step into that punch, you can generate 5, 10 times more power than if you're just using your arm. And so this way of practicing, while it may not appear to have the martial connection through some of these bigger movements, it is very practical, and it does teach you a lot of the energetic principles within the martial applications, which is very important. So let's go ahead. I'm going to start from the beginning and just kind of cruise through the first few movements since we're so close to the beginning right now. And then I'm going to pause where we left off last time, and we're going to add a little bit more. So we will start from opening stance. All right, now I'll just cruise through that section. If you haven't watched the first 3 videos, please go back and check those out, because there's a lot of information that I delivered in those first few videos that will talk about the details of those movements. So from here, the next position, the hand comes up and kind of into this guard position here. But just in this movement right here, this circular movement, this is the basics for throwing my rear hand. So I sit down, I turn the waist, hop, hop, here. But as I come up, and notice how when I'm in this position, I have very good structure. So my stance is solid, I'm feeling the floor in my movement. My hands, if you were to push on my forearms here, I've got a good solid base. So if I'm in this position here, I can really move somebody around. Say I've got 2 grips, I've got his lapel and I've got a sleeve, or maybe I'm wrapping his neck and hooking him here. I've got good structure to spin him around, throw him, push him forward, pull him down, whatever it is I want to do. So this structure here needs to be solid. From here, the next movement is down. Now, this could be a kind of a roll back position where they're coming in and I'm turning the arm and guiding their energy away. It could be if somebody's coming in to tackle me or take me down, and I'm using this structure and this power to yield and roll back and guide them by me here. After this position, we turn over. Now this gets into some of the Chin-A and many different applications here, but I'm just going to show you one where I'm going to visualize grabbing the wrist, turning it over, and locking the arm here. So as I go down here, here. This one, when I come back up here, again, remember this is a very large movement. So in reality, if somebody pushes on me here, I might just go here inside and go to a punch, or inside to go for a grab and a knee, whatever it is I'm doing. But this movement that comes up is kind of like an opening. So somebody pushes me here, or maybe they punch and I come inside here and angle. Now that's going to give me the position to come in for an attack. So I roll back, I turn it out, I lift it up. The next movement here, and we already talked about some of the different applications for this movement with the stance, whether it's here, here, or here. And so look back, I think it was in video 1, we covered that. After I go here, I'm going to step up here. Now, this could be a number of different things again, but I'm going to think about right now for this one to pull across. So say I'm grappling with somebody, I'm in kind of tight, close quarters, and I get a hold of their, with my right hand to his right hand, and I can clear the arms and then punch to the solar plexus, punch to the groin, punch to the jaw with the uppercut, any variation of that. So as I come up here, now this next movement is teaching the mechanics of the uppercut. And notice how this hand is drilling as I come up. I'm pivoting with that back foot, I'm shifting my weight, and I'm turning my hips. This gives me a lot of power into that uppercut. This hand is coiling and turning back. So anytime I do anything, if I want to create power, if this side of my body's frozen and I punch here, it's not going to have much. But if I activate the other side, doesn't matter what movement it is, single whip, brush knee, ward off, any of those movements, I have to have the whole body engaged. And so that's what we're doing when I come up in on this one. This twisting motion too could also be the entry of a yin coil to get out of a grab if somebody comes here and I go out for a grab this way. So as I come up here, circle. Now this movement here, I really like. This is very applicable. Say somebody feeds me a left straight punch. I can use that little circle hook to block and throw the punch. Here. So as I come up here and I circle and then come into this punch. Now again, remember the form, I'm never going to do it like this in a fight. But that energy is teaching me mechanically how to do it correctly. So 1, 2. The next movement here, again, this one, the step, we talked about the sweep, we talked about the different movements here. With the hand here, this could be getting out of a grip. Somebody grabs me here, and I bring that elbow over and kind of lock their arm out this way. Here, up. Again, this could be for a grip release. And then out into single whip. So there's a lot of little details going on in this new section here. I'm going to run through just the new section again, a little bit more fluidly, not break it down as much, and see how it all links together. So we finished the last video here. And when I come up into my single whip, for the Chen style, these 3 fingers touch the palm, these 2 touch here. This is the posture with the hand. Should be firm enough just to hold a small cup of tea so it wouldn't fall to the floor. Not gripping tight, just a little bit so the hand is active. The front hand, we call the willow leaf, is kind of feathered. So it's not like this, the fingers are here. So as I come into my single whip, I'm in this position here. And notice how the Chen style, most of the time, is very long, deep stances. So with this, that's why you'll see here. Again, if you have a knee or a hip injury or something like that, you can shorten up the stances. They don't have to be that way. Excuse me. But you want to try to push your strengthening a little bit, sit down into the stances, and work your legs a little bit as you're playing. So now I'm going to run through one time from the beginning and cover the new section that we did. Now, put a little bit of power in there. Remember, when you're practicing this form, as you get a little more advanced, we can really put the fa jing in a lot of the movements. But right now, I'm just keeping it pretty basic so you can get the basic outline of the form. I'm going to do one more time facing away so it's a little easier for you to follow along, and I'll go slow. So one thing I want to make a note of as you're learning this and practicing, first go through and just memorize the basic movements so you can follow along. Then really try to pay attention to the shifting of the weight, moving left and right, the turning of the waist, the rising and lowering, the expanding, the opening and closing. There's a lot of little things that are going on that sometimes if you don't watch this a few 100 times almost over and over again, it's really easy to miss a lot of those details. So even when you feel like you know it, keep coming back to it once in a while and try to look at it with a new eye. I find that a lot of times in martial arts, people get to the point where they feel like they know something and they're really missing a lot. You want to always look at everything with a new eye. And that's what's going to keep it fresh and interesting for you. I've done this form many, many times, and even just working on those first couple movements, I can get a lot of enjoyment out of them and really get to a deep meditative state through movement just playing that. If I felt like I already had that, not so much. And remember, even you do that 100,000 times, you're never going to have it mastered. There's so much going on in there that if your awareness is really expanding and you're paying attention to all of those subtleties going on, you'll learn something new every time. There's a lot there. And there's, in this one form, it's endless the amount of martial applications. I've been studying this form now since about 93. It's 2020, so 27 years. And I'm still learning from it all the time. I have not mastered this form. In no way am I the master of Chen style, but I've learned a lot from it. And I want you, if you're studying this, to approach it with that kind of a mindset. Even you do it for 27 years, there's more to learn here. I often see so many people, they get caught up in wanting to learn the next form and this form and the next shiny thing that's coming up. And you're not going to have any substance in anything you do if you don't do something with depth. You really need to spend that time and get something down solid to have a good understanding of it. Once you do that, Tai Chi is going to be a lot easier for you. So hopefully you enjoyed the video and got something out of it. I appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, please like the channel below or subscribe to the channel. Also, in our Tai Chi Qigong online program, which you'll see a link below the video, we have a lot of content up there, a lot more than we do on YouTube. If you're interested in checking that out, that is only $29.95 a month, and it's got literally 20 years worth of content on there for you to study. So check that out. You could try it out for 2 weeks for free on us and see what we're doing with that. But I appreciate you watching, and we'll keep bringing out free content for you as well. So keep posted to our YouTube channel, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.